Hi, welcome to A Foreigner in the Philippines. We often hear about how expats who are here, how they are doing, how they are getting along, how they are viewing the Filipino people. We often hear lots of criticisms, lots of ways that the Filipinos could improve themselves, could be better, could be like America or like the UK or like Germany or like anywhere abroad, and it would be so much better if they were like that. But we seldom hear about what Filipinos feel about expats. Now, I got a letter from, and I'm sure that she won't mind me saying it, it was on a public page, it was in a comment, so some of you may even have seen this comment, but it seemed to me to be particularly of interest. It was of interest to me because it tells, I think, without rancor, without a lot of misemotional opinion and name calling, it does give a little glimpse into perhaps how Filipinos view us expats. Because as you know, I'm often saying that I often choose not to associate with many expats, or there are many expats that I choose not to associate with because they're always complaining about the Philippines, about Filipino people, about how the service is and bad, they can't get a proper burger with the right cheese on it or whatever, and I just get tired of that because I feel very privileged to be here. I certainly could not live so happily in America or in the UK, and for that I thank the Filipino people, I thank the nation, I thank the country. I actually go through the day feeling very fortunate. So I would like to read this letter that was sent to me because it is very much like a lot of other comments which are made, but are briefer than this. This is more of a composed letter and on the cusp of venting, but not too bad. And it does give expats, if you haven't already tuned off because you don't want to hear it, gives you an idea of how you might be viewed. So this is from Sandy De Leon. That's her username. I'm taking it that it is a woman. Thank you, Terence, for accepting our culture, the people and the Philippines that you adopt. Not like some expats that move to the Philippines, they think they can just march in and expect us to cater to them. Because of their egos and ignorance, they think they are somebody instead of being appreciative. If they are not happy in the Philippines, why come and stay in the first place? There are other countries they can go and live, but most of them flock here. I wish they just leave and either go back to where they came from or move somewhere else. Now, okay, they're saying, why don't you go back? I've encountered this more in my own place of birth, the UK, the Irish, and don't forget that I am of Irish descent. The Irish would come to England and then they would complain about the English, and the English would tell them in short time, look, if you don't like it here, why don't you go home? And that was done very bluntly. And also, when I went to Australia, I lived in Australia for close on 6 months, and I loved it. Before I went, I learned from the Australians that I had met. I learned that it was better not to keep judging the people that you have joined and are a guest of. It's best not to keep complaining and saying what it's like in your own country, because very quickly you will be told, look, if you don't like it here, why don't you go home? And I've told the story about the couple, the family, man and wife and child went to Oz. They went to Australia to live, and they loved it. They absolutely loved it, from Britain. And thinking that they were doing a wonderful thing, the man sent for his parents. And his parents came, and they were Londoners, and they came, and boy, they never stopped complaining. There were no pubs, there were no public transport, there was no this, no that, no the other. And they never stopped whining and bitching, until in the end, the man said, "Look, Mom, Dad, I've got you tickets for London. Why don't you go back and stay with Aunt Rose and just chill out in good old London?" So they were delighted. Well, it was a chance to go home and see the old life that they missed so much. Short story, they went, and after about 2 weeks, they wanted to go home. What they thought of as being so wonderful wasn't so wonderful when they went back and saw it in a different light, from a different viewpoint. Right, so really, we really need to look at what we've come from, why we left, and what's good about the thing that we have now found. In many cases, it is happiness and contentment, but the contentment can't quite sit down. It's been invited in, you pulled a chair up, and it just can't quite settle. Maybe some of us need to go back. I certainly don't. My memory is very clear on why I left, and I am happy not to go back. I would like to visit, but I know it's a visit because I'll be away from home. Even at our little studio apartment, Beth is saying, I want to go home. I want to wake up in our house, humble and unfinished as it is. I want to wake up in our home. That's where I want to be. Now, this little studio apartment has all of the amenities that we really would want. It's got a flushing toilet, for one thing, and it's all nicely decorated and finished. And it's very convenient for going anywhere in Taliban and getting anything that you need. But it's not home. We're going to go home in a little while to our unfinished house in the mountains, through the mud or the stones or the rocks or the whatever it is. We're going there. Sandy DeLeon, it is I who should thank you for giving me a home. This is a foreigner in the Philippines. Bye for now.